Saucy Santana's You Gotta Be Real Quiet on the Creek, for me, rings as one of the perfect explanations for gentrification and white colonialism in like social settings that I have. Because, like, when you look at the context of everything, it truly is one of the like most heartbreaking things to see. Because these people don't even know the phrase they're using. They're using it incorrectly. They don't know how to use it. And because of the fact that they never bothered to check who made the clip, who bothered to produce it, they just want to profit off of it. Like these people, we'll see people say, what does people say quiet on the creek? They ask in comment sections, what does it mean? Instead of searching for like, I don't know, quiet on the creek original so they could understand the full context of what being real quiet on the creek is about. Instead, they'll get a second-hand explanation, and then they'll start using You Gotta Be Real Quiet on the Creek incorrectly because they never bothered to look at the original source material, which to me is plain textbook colonialization and gentrification, which I'm pretty sure those are the same phrases, but I digress. The problem with these people is that they refuse to acknowledge that, like, they have the ability to look up, to search, to see the results they're so desperately asking for. You want Saucy Santana's, oh, I gotta be real quiet on the creek. Literally, the full phrase is, I used to go fishing when I was a little girl. You gotta be real quiet on the creek. That is the full quote. With the full quote, you have the full explanation, the full reason for why people are making parodies of this meme. But since they never want to look at the source material, they're always going to go out of their way and be like, oh, what does this mean? What does that mean? They did that with That's Just the Way It Is. And what's even worse is they did it in like less than a week. They didn't let the thing even, they didn't even let it marinate. They took it within less than a week's time. It's crazy to me how so many white people are willing to just colonize something without ever looking at the originator, without ever looking at the context behind something because they want to use it. If you saw the context behind That's Just the Way It Is, I'm pretty sure you'd understand why it would be weird for you as a white person to use that, right? It would be weird for you to just use that song out of nowhere, right? And it's even worse because when it comes to black people taking white memes, they always have to make it AI. Like, what? Not only are you taking the phrase, you are now making poor representations of it and you're going to spread it everywhere. And then in like, I don't know, a week or two's time, they're going to be like, oh, Real Quiet on the Creek is corny, it's boring, they shouldn't be using it, it's actually really boring, it was never funny to begin with. It wasn't funny because you never bothered to look at the source material and see why people found it funny. It's not funny because you are not the source material for it. You are not the target audience that this is going to be marketed towards. You are not part of the group that made it. You are not part of the individual's group that made it. Like, you are not part of Saucy Santana's group. Like, we all know with like, you are not part of the groups that he's in. You would never understand it. You are not part of the groups that this video was made for. So, of course, you would never understand it. You would never understand something that you were never meant to be a part of because that's the point. I don't get Mexican humor. Mexicans have their own sense of humor that they are fully allowed to have because I'm not Mexican. I'm not going to forcefully find a way to understand the material because I'm not meant for it. The source material is not someone I am affiliated with or associated with. I am not part of the group that made the source material. I'm not part of the group that produces and consumes the source material. So, therefore, I will never, ever, ever consider myself part of that source material for that pure reason alone. It's not that hard as a concept to just leave people alone, to leave things in their originality. But no, they can't. These people, they can't leave phrases that are meant for black people alone. They can't leave phrases meant for people of color, for literally anybody. They have to use it. And then they'll turn around and say, oh, this is corny, or this is corny, it's never funny, it was never funny. The reason it's no longer funny, my sister, is because you took the thing, remixed its source material so much so that it's not even the source material anymore, and now it's not funny. It's not funny because you took something and misconstrued it in such an awful way that you ended up with an entirely different piece of material. That's why it doesn't feel funny anymore. That's why it's not funny anymore. You took it and you misconstrued it so badly that you missed the mark on making it funny. That's the problem. That's the issue. You're not trying to be empathetic towards the situation. You're just trying you're not even trying to be like empathetic. You're just trying to do this to get a rise out of people. You're doing this so that people can be mad at you. You're doing this so that, oh, but I thought it, but no, but this is for everyone. No, but it's Gen Z slang. No, but it's what this is. No. Y'all are trying to look for reasons to make these things about you. You don't need to include yourself if you were never a part of the group to be in the first place. If you have to cope that hard where you say, oh, but I thought language was for everybody, cultures are meant to be shared, then you're clearly not the source material. I don't know what you want me to say. If you can argue that something that is legitimately not for you is for you by force, then that proves that it wasn't for you. It's like a man arguing abortion rights. You were never the person going to be affected by these things. Men are not actively affected by abortion in the same way they like to think they are. They really aren't. Because who's getting to carry the child? The woman. So who would be the main center and focus of the situation? It would be a woman. The problem with y'all is that y'all don't think like this. Y'all think with the mentality that just because it's there, you should be involved in it. And I feel like that's also something in general that y'all need to stop doing. Like, I'm being so serious. Please stop involving yourself in things that you legitimately do not have a word in. Okay? White people can't get into the issues of black people because guess what? You're not black. So you can't involve yourself in the issues of white people because you're not black. I've said that so wrong. You can't get yourself involved in the issues of black people because you are not black. Your skin is pasty white. Your skin, your skin color is the same skin color as my cords. White. Can we please stop acting and pretending as if inclusion is this great thing? Sometimes things are only meant to be shared with certain groups. It's like gay people have their own thing, lesbians have their own thing, bisexuals have their own thing, black people have their own thing, the Mexicans have their own thing. Everybody collectively has their own thing that they're doing. So it's important for you as a person to also have your own thing going. White people, I'm pretty sure. Wait, I'm actually not sure. I'm pretty sure y'all have your own things that like you're probably interested in. I don't know. I'm not a white person, so I don't really check on your side. But that said, y'all can't be involving yourself in black matters and then getting surprised and confused as to why black people are upset at you. We're upset at you because you are involving yourselves intentionally. It would be one thing if it was openly queer white people involving themselves in the Saucy Santana's Real Quiet on the Creek, because then it makes sense. They understand the context. They probably know Saucy Santana. They know who created the clip, so therefore they're not going to have a problem with it. They're not going to be like, oh, you got to be real quiet on the creek. Oh, you got to be this, you got to be that. No, they will understand the context. I have nothing more on this issue to say other than can we please leave things to the groups that made them? If you know your group didn't make it and you're not even in, like, intersectionality matters. If you are not at least black or queer, don't get onto trends that are made by black and queer people because you're most likely going to misconstrue it and remix it in such a way that it becomes unbearable for the people who created it to witness. You guys don't like us. Why do you keep trying to imitate us? Leave us alone. That's all I have to say. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe. Comment down in my videos your opinions. I would like to hear more of what you guys are thinking, and that's all I have to say. In other news, I'm tired. I don't want to be here anymore. Schools are opening soon, and I don't want to go back. Like, but you gotta make peace with it. Bye.